We're talking to people today who are suffering due to what they feel are unjust outcomes or questionable laws. Danielle is fighting for the state of Oregon to label her rapist, Richard Gilmore, a level 3 threat before his December 2 release. Now, that release date's been set, right?
Yes.
What's he done from prison that causes you to question whether or not he's really got his heart in the right place, been rehabilitated?
Well, if you look at his psych evals, those are a real eye opener. And then the other thing that he has done, he actually called one of the victims in our case and told her, "You girls are going to pay for this." And then
This is
there's,
from prison.
yes,
So he gets on a prison phone. He's in for what he's done. And he calls one of the victims and says, not just you, but you 9
mhm,
are going to pay for this.
yes,
And you say he's crafted a revenge list.
correct. I've been actually warned. I guess the first parole hearing I spoke at, I was the only victim. And the DA sent me down and he said, "I need you to know that I think they're going to let him out this time." And he said, "You need to know he will seek revenge. So I need you to think clearly about what you're about to do." After the 2008 hearing, he made a threat where he said, "I'm going to slit the bitch's throat." So he was pretty angry that all of a sudden victims were coming forward and keeping him in prison. In 2016 was his last parole hearing, and he declined to attend after he got a copy of his psych evaluations.
Well, but when he doesn't attend, then that truncates the proceeding. Danielle says, according to his psych eval, he is a, quote, ritualistic habitual sex offender who has a 75% likelihood of reoffending within 10 years. Quote, sadistic rapist who will certainly engage in similar behaviors in the future as he has in the past, a psychologist. Quote, poor risk to comply with parole guidelines, another psychologist. I think he'll do more than rape, a prison guard. An excerpt from a letter from Oregon Governor's Office. This individual's sentence ends on December 22nd, 22. Were the parole board to take no action in this case under state law, he would be released with no conditions whatsoever. Instead, the parole board has set a parole date of December 16th so that this individual will be required to be under community supervision for 10 years until 2034. This allows for the possibility of a return to prison should he violate the conditions of his release. While on parole, he will be required to abide by all conditions imposed by the parole board as well as his parole officer. So they're saying, hey, we get it, but his sentence was cut in half before, so we have to turn him loose. And so we're doing this a few days before he's released, so we have some methodology for putting him back in if he violates a condition of his release. So I get that they're doing some of what they can do, but they certainly could re-level him. And that's what you're after.
Yes.
The best predictor of future behavior is relevant past behavior. And when you want to know what somebody's going to do, take a good history and see what they've done. Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.